Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We greet you on this day with open hearts and great love. And today we are going to be asking questions of Archangel Gabriel, who is channeled through Peter Hansen. Peter, thank you so much. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's been so much fun doing many more of these events this last year. And I posted a little bit about it today earlier. It's about we are filling a container. We are creating this energy field that we all feeding to. We're bringing content. We are bringing consciousness. We are continuously bringing more love and light into it, that anyone who are able to access it and wanted to access it can go in and grab and take without depleting anything. So we're building a field of consciousness for the collective ascension journey. And this vehicle, how we meet, how we work together, how we share, is continuously feeding that and assisting with the collective ascension journey. So it's a fun gathering, and I love doing this with you. And I feel like the balance and the synergy is really potent and beautiful, and it's a good balance. And that's what it always comes down to in the bigger picture, is that learning to focus on that balance in our personal lives, be that change in the world, focus on the frequency, focus on the words we're using.
Yes, absolutely. Beautiful words as we start out today. This really is that sacred container, and it's so soothing to hear the words, to hear the messages through you from Archangel Gabriel. And so again, we just welcome you to this space, and we welcome everyone. If you have questions today, please raise your hand. We will unmute you in our Zoom audience, and you can share your voice. You can also put questions in the Q&A box. Okay, so as we start, I would like to just check in with you and Archangel Gabriel about, wow, is there a message about this year? This year feels like a very transformational year, and we're almost complete, almost to the next year of 2023. What are you feeling? How has it been for you? And what does Archangel Gabriel have to say about this?
Wonderful. Thank you. I love that intro and that connectiveness and this guidance. I'm going to ask you and everybody else, you're going to speak on the behalf of everybody else. Do you have your permission to energy melt and connect with your higher self?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm just going to bring in the Legion of Angels. I'm asking them to remove any wandering spirits, anything that's not a delight from this collective energy field, and everybody individually as well. Clearing any wandering spirits, anything that's not a delight from the houses, the cities, the countries, the states, this planet, from all timelines, all parallel realities and all dimensions. So just everybody, just take a deep breath and kind of release any tension to anything you've been carrying in, and allow yourself to not just receive the words, but receive the frequency behind the words, the purity of the love being channeled through me and through Loren into this gathering. So I'm bringing in Archangel Gabriel, and he says hello. And we're now tuning into your question about what did this year represent, and what's to come. So by tuning in to the year 2022 on a whole, let's see here. The human comprehension of how things works in the spiritual and in general is very limited, is that 1% we have access to. So coming in, asking a question about 12 months, so many hours, so many days, so forth, it also represents layers of consciousness or frequency, where in the linear sense, there's a start and a beginning, but more importantly, is more about, mastering them all. So this year has been about mastery, even though most can attend or relate to that it's been challenging, because it's the old foundation that's been pulled up and been released. Any kind of attachments to that old consciousness, that old matrix, the old ways, belief systems, how everything worked, was being brought up and into the light, being pulled up by the root, going through a death and a rebirth cycle, and coming in now to this next upcoming year. There will be a turn actually here. November actually in its own rights is signifying or representing as a new beginning. We are shifting gears again. The waters are gonna be more mellow, more balanced, not as rough. And it's all in the eyes of the beholder. That's important to remember, is that we have, as we now start to tap into the multidimensional frequencies and viewpoints, we have multiple views of the same situation. So at first we were used to, in the old, just having one point of view, the one we were most in vibration or in frequency with. That was what we got. But now with the stronger, the bigger bandwidth we have, we are able to hold more than one. So you can be able to see both sides of the story. You can see multiple angles of the same, but we have to utilize it. And that's going to be the challenge coming in here in November and moving forward, is becoming our multidimensional selves, learning to operate outside the box, basically, learning or relearning, really what it comes down to, because we already know this in the higher aspects. So it's that integration, it's allowing, it's surrendering, it's choosing not to struggle any longer. So there's a choice point here, and more people are starting to awakening and shifting, and everybody's at a different space. It's important to remember. So staying out of judgment, and this actually tying into your question about the workshop coming up as well. It's about shifting the vibration, it's shifting the perspective, it's about shifting our choices and how we show up, how we are being seen, how we communicate, all of that. I feel like there's another question, and that's why Gabriel is stopping me right here.
Thank you. There is another question. So speak more, please, about becoming multidimensional. What does that really entail? You said something about shifting the perspective and how we show up, but what does that mean truly to become multidimensional?
Good question. Multidimensional is we're shifting beyond the physical, beyond the one body, the human body, the one-dimensional space at a time. Multidimensional, as the name suggests, is that we are active and conscious in multiple, as many as we can hold the bandwidth or the frequency for at a time. So as we embody higher and higher aspects of our souls, more and more aspects of our past, future selves, even guides, angels, bringing it into the sphere of our light body, then at first it's like avatars, is that, okay, this is this aspect, this is that aspect, and this is this aspect. As we're becoming multidimensional, it becomes fluid, it becomes liquid, so to speak. It's like plasma energy. So they're all present, but it's a part of the whole. So they're not separate. They're in unified field of consciousness, and the human mind can't comprehend that. That's why the avatars are created just for explanation, to understand it, to kind of get it. But it really comes into that unity consciousness, where we become one with the whole, the I am presence, where there's no separation, there's no past and future. It's all in the 0 point energy. It's all in the love that connects everything. Is the fifth element, is the one that connects all the separated pieces before and bring it into one unified field of consciousness. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. So, unity consciousness, what can we do in our own life, in our own perspective about unity consciousness? Because you just mentioned that it's one with the whole, and it's the I am presence. And we can easily have a heavy heart when we look out at the world and maybe feel like maybe we feel helpless about some of the bigger things that are happening. So, for all of those who are working towards unity consciousness, any advice or any suggestion on what we do, how we walk, how we show up in this aspect in light of everything that's going on?
It is reprogramming ourselves, our minds, how we think, how we operate, being okay with not knowing what's going to happen next, or what to do next. Learning to be okay with that, because otherwise we're still operating from a consciousness that's linear and a belief system. So it's about organically connecting, being okay with not knowing the answer, but then connecting with the life force energy, connecting with source through that, and allow the answer to be vibrational match to you, so you pull it in. And that's when we let go of the linearity, let go of the logical. Then we are in a quantum field where we have access to past and future selves and timelines and information. So we connect vibrationally with what we want to pull into the field. So that's really what that comes down to. So learning how to operate and live that way, not allowing any more of those voices in our head or any other distractions to hijack us, or mind controllers, taking that power back. That's really the hardest aspect of that part of the journey, because it's already active. It's more about letting go of all the attachments and the dense energies, and releasing them, and the victim, or all of that, the hardship, the struggle, the dense energy, and shifting in, choosing to be a way shower, choosing to be a light bringer, choosing to be the highest vibration, the highest frequency, the highest version of oneself. And that comes into alignment with source energy, because it doesn't want anything from you. It just continuously shines and continuously show up. And that's when things become simpler and simpler. The disruption, the distractions, all of that, it was a part of that old programming. It was part of all these things we held in our field and trying to hold on to, trying to control. So letting go of that, shifting our vibration and our frequency, and our density with it, allowing ourselves to surrender and let go, stepping into the light, not knowing what's going to happen next, and being okay with that.
That is very comfortable. There is such a comfort in that, because the old us, the old 3D us, would totally not be okay with that. But hearing those words, we are okay with it, and we are connecting. Can you elaborate more on the light body? Maybe you'd mentioned that we can draw our future and past selves and our angels and our guides into the sphere of our light body. Elaborate more on this, and what else do we need to do to build our light body? Is it happening anyway without the consciousness, or can we do more to amplify that? And what would that feel like and be like?
A perfect question. And the theme of today is taking the next conscious step or steps. And that's really what it comes down to, is that, yes, we're all in different vibrations, all in different places, and we're all doing our best to the best of our abilities. So the key is to continue. We will misstep, if you want, or make wrong choices, or get caught up in old programming early on more and more, but it becomes lighter and lighter. So it's really about continuously moving forward, not allowing ourselves to continue anything that's draining our energy field. And again, it's not a set course. So individually, for each individual, we all come in with our unique blueprint, our unique energy and soul fragments. So the key really is to find your own way, create your own religion if you want, where you're not looking or comparing yourself to anyone else. You find that thread within you and you continue to follow it, the feeling of it, and feel this feels right. And that's connecting you with the inner knowing as well. And that brings into the light body as well, to fully hold and become and gather all these aspects of ourselves. We cannot be separated. We have to bring it in. We have to master each aspect of them. So bring each aspect of ourself into the unity consciousness, and is a unified field of consciousness, into the light, where there's no separation. It's not resisting anything. So there's no control involved in each aspect either. So when we look at our life or lifetimes as through the quantum field, not the linear, because the linear would be point A to point B, past, future, so forth. But from the quantum field, then it's more of a master each vibration. And as we do, more and more aspects will be brought into the core, the light body, into your field. And that's the reason why we're here. That's a part of our movie. It's part of our human journey on Earth, is to master that again. So we become a vessel or a embodiment of the divine, where that is actually what the divine is doing, the source energy is doing at the same time. You just become one with it. So it's not separate from you either. So you're allowing you to be in that presence, you be that energy, you vibrate it, you merge with it as well. And that's when we come into unity consciousness and start to being able to be in different dimensional frequencies and civilizations, all of that, and communicate and play with other higher consciousness, higher dimensional frequencies and souls.
Again, I'll say it, it is so comforting to hear those words, and listening to that message when we look at ourselves from the quantum field, from the quantumness that we are. There is a great comfort there. There's a knowingness there. I hope that everyone can feel this, because it is beautiful. It really brings us into presence. And even though we're thinking future lives, maybe a future life where we've already figured it out, and then past lives where we've already been there and done that, it brings us into a presence where there's no problems. And so we can feel the unity. We definitely can feel the oneness with everything. And this is how we change our planet. So one last question, and then we'll go to our audience questions. And I want to say, for our Zoom audience, please, if you have a question for Peter, you can ask it in the Q&A box. The chat box is there as well. And you can raise your hand and we will unmute you and you can share your voice with us. So one question is Lemuria. And I wonder, Archangel Gabriel, can you speak about Lemuria? Because I know that I'm not the only one who remembers the fall of Lemuria, where we asked the Great Council of Light, a Great Council of Light, to bring in the laggards, because we felt and knew that this love vibration that we're being asked to tune into again would elevate the laggards that we were letting in and influence them with our love. Well, sadly, we know that that did not happen at that time, but it feels like it's happening now. And so, your thoughts and words or message on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful question. It comes down to, again, in another way of looking at it, is that we've been through a yuga, we've been through a period of time where there was fundamental changes happening in the universal structure as well. So we are now coming out on the other side, so to speak. So when we went into this experience, that was the fall of Atlantis, the fall of Lemuria. So it was a calculated, so to speak, necessary evil, necessary part of the process, that there was a higher purpose to it. It was shifting into a different consciousness. It was the reality that, the participants were experiencing was shifting. There was still watchers, so to speak, from the universal, the higher consciousness, watching all of this at the same time, making sure that everything was staying on track. So it's all divine planning, and it is a part of the divine plan as well. That divine flow of consciousness. And what does that represent about Lemuria? It was the death and the rebirth. So what's coming forth now, we're coming out on the other side, is that not only will Lemuria, Atlantis, and similar cities of light, higher consciousness, new earth be accessible again, so to speak, in the multidimensional, in the quantum field, but it will be even bigger. It will be even more refined. It will be even more detailed. It's mastering all the layers that will bring all these difficulties, all this trauma, all this death and rebirth that happened. It will be released into the Akashic records. It will be released into the unified field of consciousness, and that will be assisting in building new worlds and bringing and maintaining balance and resonance in the whole universe. So this is kind of like a blueprint. It had to go through a metamorphosis, a transition to bring us to where we're now coming into. I know it was a little different answer than you expected, I think, but
No, thank you. Again, that word comforting and soothing is really good, because there's so much pain. Or that message helped us take that multi-dimensional perspective of Lemuria, and it's beyond the Lemuria and Atlantis, and there's no blame. There's no blame anymore. Wow, that makes me want to cry. The death and the rebirth, it is what we all signed up for. It is the humanness of this beautiful planet Earth that we incarnated in during Lemuria. And then, yes, we all did choose to go through it to learn this great lesson of love. The lesson how love can be in those times of Lemuria, and then living in times where that love connection was not the strongest, or how far away from love can we go. So wow, what an incredible journey. And here we are, able now to choose the vibration and not be a victim to any of it. Thank you. Really wonderful. And I love that it's the resonance of the whole universe, that this actually, we are becoming even more in resonance with the universe of love. All right, thank you. So let's go to some questions. We have first one in our chat box, and I see the beautiful angelic number of 44 on the computer right now. Gabriel has a question for Archangel Gabriel.
Awesome, beautiful.
Can Archangel Gabriel elaborate when the oppression, censorship, and power of the one percenters will cease and we can freely step into the sovereignty of our beings and become one?
Good question. Thank you, Gabriel. The question is asked in a consciousness that's based on linearity and logic and time, point A to point B. So to give an answer in that vibration, in that frequency, in that resonance would really not serve the asker asking the question, because that would basically cater to not being ready, not being able to, and feeding into that energy. So to answer the question in a different way is that to fully experience that oneness, we have to let go of the old reality. And that is an individual level of mastery. So it's really about when we disconnect from the old individually, each one of us, we choose that, okay, enough is enough. I tried this long enough. I struggled long enough. I allow myself to rise in vibration above. So you're not connected vibrationally with it anymore. That's when that's going to happen. So when I can reformulate this a little bit, when is the bell curve, where is the critical mass being reached, when enough will reach that point, try to put it into somewhat of a limited or linear time, sorry. Let's see here. And again, depending where everybody's at, because everybody's a different place. For the collective, there's still a lot of collapse and death and rebirth going on, but the critical mass is being reached. So mid next year, but already leading up to it, starting and continuously been going on for a long time, it will accelerate. So more and more will start to fall apart. More and more will be brought into the light. More and more will simply exit. And it's not just by death and stuff, but it's like stories, timelines collapsing, being removed. So the Mandela effect, where there will be a common story that has been told and kept alive for a long time, will not be in a vibrational resonance with where we're going. So more and more of those will fall out and collapse. So it's like a lot of those hardship frequencies and timelines where it's us against them, it's these families, it's matrix, it's more and more of those will be brought into light and cleared. And that's how we shift out of it. It's not about fixing it. It's more about, it's a vibrational and dimensional shift up. So we collapse, we forget about it. Like we're forgetting names, dreams shift, change. Each portal we're coming through, like we're coming into the 1111, or the eclipses, the portals, the gateways, all of them are assisting with milestones where another one is being shifted or released in the collective. The ones that's still holding on to them, that's the one that's resisting a little bit, and they will need a little 2 or 3 weeks to let go of that vibration, and then they also will let go, if that makes sense.
Yes, thank you. Again, it is beautiful because it expresses the sovereignty that we have. And that is to no longer buy into it. Maybe it's just to witness it, but not to let it energetically affect us. Beautiful, very comforting. And Gabriel, we hope that that helps. Okay. And it's beautiful that the critical mass is being reached. And everyone watching and listening to this is part of the leaders who are assisting in that transition. And we thank you for it. Beautiful. Okay. All right. Let's go to Annette. Annette, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Hello.
Hi, Ned.
Hello. Hey, Peter. So good. Hi. So awesome. Hi, Gabriel. I love all the angels. And so I have many questions, but I thought maybe I should surrender and trust and let Gabriel tell me what is important for me to hear at this time.
Okay. That's your final answer?
Well, I have other questions, but I thought.
Okay, absolutely.
I think that knows my heart.
Absolutely. Do you have your permission to energy melt and connect with your higher self?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm just going to bring in the Legion of Angels and I'm asking them to remove any wandering spirits, anything that's not of the light from your energy field, and this connection, this session with you, and slowly energy melting with you and allowing them to show me what you need to know, is in resonance, what you need to know, what's for your highest good at this time, at this moment. So, your point of view, you do navigate through a lot of experts, a lot of gurus, a lot of posts, a lot of readings, a lot of books, so forth. That's been very helpful up to this point. I'm not saying they won't be helpful moving forward, but it can create a little bit of a distraction. So key for you is now you start listening to you. You're connecting with the divine through you, allowing you to follow your path, so to speak, create your own religion. So you have knowledge within you that's specifically for you, and that is really what the whole ascension journey is about, is that you now still looking, but it's time for you to shift that. It's to fully take ownership of that. It doesn't matter your age, your sex, your upbringing, your money. It does not matter, none of that. This is vibrational. This is frequency. This is consciousness. It's about you stepping up, allowing yourself. And it's not about anyone else seeing you as much. That will happen too, but it's really about you putting you first, putting you, honoring you respecting you, respecting your energy, respecting the inner knowledge you do have, and don't feel like you have to kind of find a balance between what everybody else is saying. No, what you are gathering, what you're channeling, that is true for you. So that is you're ready to step into that, and things will become so much easier, because then you won't feel like you have to navigate or make sacrifices, or if that makes sense. It doesn't mean that others won't pick up similar vibrations as you are, because that's something you will understand and recognize more at the time too, because when big blocks of consciousness are being not necessarily released, but reached from within, many others will be in that same frequency, and they will communicate in their ways, but it's important that you stay in your box, on your rice bowl, if you want, in your lane. Don't worry so much about everybody else. How's that?
Thank you so much. And is it wrong to are you still there?
Yeah, I have a hard time hearing you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Is there I feel like I've been walking in two worlds most of my life, because I have the church friends and people, and I honor their path, and then I have my spiritual path that they would not understand. So I'm always walking in those two, I call them worlds, and maybe I'm supposed to be doing that for my light to be there also. I'm not sure.
Well, the only place where the separation occurs actually in your belief system, that it has to be separate, that you have to show up differently when you're around certain people, or you should never have to dim your light. When you're in a frequency of non-resistance, then it is God's light. It's source light. It's source frequency. It's that pure consciousness that's vibrating through you. And that will resonate no matter where you go. And they will receive it whatever way they choose to receive it. But you don't really have to worry about explaining yourself through words. It's the purity of the love you carry. You allow that, how you show up, how you listen, how you allow yourself just to be the purest, highest aspect of yourself. Because then you can travel and be anywhere and you're limitless. The mind will make an excuse. The mind will say, well, they're not going to understand me. And then you bring that experience into your field. So letting go of that.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
It's
Thank
like,
you.
You know, not creating blockages for yourself. Believe that they will understand. Believe that they will, you know, see you for who you are. And it does not matter if it's connected to a religion or not. What matters is the frequency and the consciousness, the unity that you represent. Because that speaks louder than anything else. That's a vibration. So anything that's not in vibration with that, let's say somebody who is very against that or very set on their ways, would not be in a vibrational match to you. So it would not be pulled into or magnetized into your field. So that's a part of you staying in your lane, and you just knowing that whoever you do come in contact with are supposed to be there. And the more you can show up as the true you, the highest expression of yourself, the easier that will be. You won't have all these hang-ups and quarrel with it, if that makes sense.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Blessings and love to you both.
Thank you. You too. Thank you.
Thanks, Annette. That question it commanded an answer that speaks to all of us. Thank you. All right, beautiful. Let's go to a question in our Q&A box. This is from Bridget or Brigitte. Would you be able to give me some insight of where I am on my spiritual path? What do I need to work on or focus on to really move forward with my gifts? And what angels are around me to call for support?
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to bring in the Legion of Angels. I'm asking to remove any wandering spirits, anything that's not a delight from Bridget's energy field. Just clearing the space and slowly energy melting with you. And tapping into your question, bringing in the Archangel. And tuning in. So where are you at on your journey? You are at a, you could say breaking point, but really what it is, there's a heart expansion happening. So there's a shift from that old consciousness, the more masculine approach of getting things done or achieving a goal, where you're coming into the heart space now and fully unlocking the unconditional love from within you, which will magnify all of your gifts, because it will bring them into full alignment with full access to all of them. So that's the point I'm seeing you being at right now. It's cracking wide open. There will physical sensations going on here in your bones and stuff. But I do feel that your inner guidance is strong enough to keep you on track, where the human mind would go into panic a little bit and think, as the symptoms are happening more and more, that, oh my God, I got this, there must be something wrong with me. You're not falling into that. There's a tiny layer of that, but it's not enough to hijack your attention or your process. So, and then that's why you are now, well, signifying that you're ready to shift into that, and you are in the middle of it, actually. And you asked about angels. Let me just see here. As I'm asking the questions about other angels, archangels working through you, there's a very deep, through your solar plexus, there's a very deep connection and chord and a very strong influx of vibrations and frequency and communication coming through. And it shows me that you have past lives, you have other lifetimes, in other realms or dimensions, where you have very closely worked with galactic, but also angelic, and were very angelic yourself, and holding the codes of the archangels as well. See if there's more names here. You were working closely with the seraphims as well. The seraphim, the angels holding the closest to God, we're gonna tap into that later on, are distributing more information down through the layers, and that was one of your big tasks in a past lifetime. And do remember that in the quantum field, that is already happening. That timeline is still existing, it's still intact. So that is what that's connecting to with your solar plexus, is that you now start to remembering, as your heart is opening, you are starting to remember more and more of that inner knowledge, that connectedness, those experiences from those lifetimes, and that is started to flow. So you start to be able to not just the words, but the frequencies, the codes, the light, that will be filling up your container in your life, so to speak. And I can tell that it resonates with you, even without you are talking yet, and you feel very identified and connected with that description. How does that feel?
Okay, we will wait for the response on that. Thank you. All right. Here is another question from our Q&A box. This is from Anna. Hi, Anna. Archangel Gabriel, can you explain why my physical body is breaking down? I am laid up with back spasms and pain. Is that due to stuck energy? And am I in a cocooning stage where my body needs to be still to be transformed? Any insight is appreciated.
What was the name again?
Anna.
Anna, thank you. Thank you, Anna. I'm just going to tune into the question, asking for your permission to energy melt and connect with your higher self, from your higher self, getting a yes, bringing in the Legion of Angels, asking them to remove any wandering spirits, anything that's not a delight from your physical body, and all bodies, and gently connecting, merging with you, and scanning your body first. So first, before the full answer is coming through, just identifying and recognizing, yes, you have back problems, but your lower chakras, there's a lot of dense energies in your root and your sacral, and it ties into your lower back as well. Fear of not having enough money, all kinds of things, all triggers, all programming that was stuck, so to speak, in these lower frequencies or these lower chakras, and in the cells of your body. So as you now tapping into the question from the get-go, from the start, about your ascension symptoms and what you're supposed to be doing and why they're happening. You have been activated, and it's not just talking about that. We all who are on this show, everybody who's on here, know in one shape or form that they will ascend, or they are in the process of it somehow, either consciously or unconsciously. You reach the activation point, as most of humanity actually have, knowing it or not. So when that happens, that is when it's not feeding the old programs anymore. So anything that's remaining in or still stuck in the body will not be a vibrational match to the energies coming in, starting with the activation. So gently, as much as you allow it to, then it will exit and release from your body. So when we look at that from a logical mindset, then it seems separate. It seems that, oh, I need to focus on that. I need to focus on this, because whatever's coming up is that layer that's in a being targeted next, necessarily, if you say, or as the light also coming in, whatever is reacting to it, that aspect of your body, which for you is the lower and your back at the moment, is simply just to clear whatever needs to go first. So being in a vibrational alignment with that, knowing that, and starting continuously telling yourself that this is what needs to happen. This is a part of your ascension journey. The more you can acknowledge it and you can receive it as a gift, and knowing that it's not here to hurt you, the faster you will process it. The resistance, the pain, is the resistance to the change. It's holding on, it's the attachments, it's the not knowing. Laying still, you ask, in the sense of the words, yes, but it's not meaning that you shouldn't move physically, because moving energy, walking in nature, doing breath work is really important. And whatever you put into your body too, make sure that the guidelines are something that's not lowering or feeding the old vibration, because the more you do that, the lower resistance will hang out longer in your field. So basically surrender the old belief system, surrender the old band-aids you put on or whatever comforted you in the past to not feel as much. It's not going to work any longer moving forward. It's going to be very short-lived. It's really the moment, the memory of whatever, let's say, was strong medication, or it could even be food or alcohol, all of that. It's not doing what it did before. So the sooner you can have a good balanced relationship to that, it does not have to be cold turkey, but really consciously do your best on a daily basis, then the sooner you will release this, the sooner you will experience that being gone. Then it will move around for, there'll be headaches, there will be throat shock, there will be many different things going on, but it's all a part of the divine process, of your ascension process, your awakening process. So I hope that's helpful.
Thank you. And again, the answer speaks to all of us. It really is amazing. Although it's specific for Anna, it does help us. I loved it. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Let us know how that helps. And we did hear from Bridget saying, thank you. That was beautiful as well. And it totally resonates. She says, I can feel lots of physical changes happening and I'm slightly nervous, but now I know I'm moving forward. Appreciate it. Okay. One step at a time, everyone. Beautiful. We're going to go to our phone line, or the microphone line now on Zoom, and I'm going to Nikki. Nikki, you can unmute yourself and ask your question of Archangel Gabriel. Hi, Nikki.
Hello.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi, Gabriel. I don't know if you could answer this question, but I have a question regarding my son. Okay. And he was in a car accident. He was a pedestrian, and it'll be 2 years at the end of this month. 6 to 9 months into it, he started experiencing problems that are interfering with him being able to work. He hasn't been able to work. I'd like to know, will he recover? What can I do? Do my prayers, how effective are my prayers in helping him recover also?
Okay, thank you. Do you have your permission to energy melt and connect with your higher self?
Of course, yes.
Thank you. What is your son's name?
His name is Alex.
Alex, beautiful. My brother's name is Alex too.
Ah.
Physical body. I'm going to bring in the Legion of Angels. I'm asking them to remove any wandering spirits, anything that's not a light from your body and from Alex's body, and just connecting with both of you and your higher self, and bringing in the Archangel. Tuning in here. So will he recover, first of all? Yes, he will. He might be at times, I think you're ready to hear that, but we do choose certain experiences in our lifetimes, and it actually offers a accelerated path to reach ascension mastery. So the more obstacle we put in our way and struggles, so forth, we do, advanced souls choose that a lot of times. So coming in, asking the question, will he, heal from this? And it's a yes. Will he be able to go back to work? Yes, but he won't be choosing the same kind of work moving forward. It feels like he's going to make a more conscious choice, because more will be available to him. And his priorities, his values, this whole experience allowed him to, there was a death and rebirth, so to speak, happening within that, where there was some old patterns from past lives as well that needed to be discontinued or cut off. And this kind of facilitated that or helped with that transitioning and that separation from that old. There was some chords that was very deep and not serving moving forward that needed to go. Okay. Does your praying help? Absolutely. Praying does not have to be just sending out a wish. The key and what will help you moving forward, and everybody else for that matter, is that not only sending it out there for somebody else or wishing up on a star, so to speak, more of a aligning with that reality. Instead of focusing so much on not wanted, visualize the opposite of that, where he is healthy, where without explanation, he will be more functionable. He will becoming himself. It can happen as fast as you allow it to, but you have to entertain, you have to manifest that timeline. So, and you have to collapse the old one. So not seeing him as the way he's been. And that goes for everything. By collapsing old unwanted timelines, then we have the opportunity to vibrationally align with one where that whatever conceived problem or experienced problem is not a thing any longer, because the solution is there. So it's time for you to now stepping out of just praying and into becoming a conscious creator. Does that make sense?
Oh, of course. Yes.
And actually believing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
when you can fully believe it, then it becomes possible.
Okay, quick question. I don't believe it 100% of the time, because as I go along my day and let's say I get a distress call from him, I get knocked down, I wobble a little. So does believing require 100% believing, or do you see where I'm coming from? It's pretty hard to stay 100%.
Right. Believing, that's also, it could be loaded in itself. The key is to change you believe. So continuously observe yourself and then align yourself with the highest vibrational belief, if you want, the highest vibrational timeline. So what believe also ties into what you expect, because your beliefs dictate what you expect to happen. If he calls and you expect him to be a tough conversation and him being struggling, that's the vibrational frequency that you're aligning with. So you have to kind of bite it in the butt, and you have to nip it in the butt, and consciously catch yourself, observe yourself, and then shift that belief right there. And then even if you did feel it for a second that, oh God, it's going to be, then just consciously say, nope, that's not my belief system any longer, and then shift it into the opposite.
So even if he is struggling, having issues, pain, he's suffering, don't believe it.
It's not believing what he's saying, but don't expect that to be a part of your reality. The more you can shift the reality, then you won't experience
Don't accept
longer.
that.
Right.
Okay.
And it's not from a fighting standpoint, it's more of a recognizing that that's not you talking, that's not your higher self speaking.
Okay.
That's all
So
programming, all belief system.
I could look at it like this is just a reaction to prior thoughts of his.
Right.
It's not reality. Or
It only is if you believe it to be, right? So that's the
Exactly.
belief. So by shifting and changing your belief, then you allow for a new experience to come into reality. So you have to consciously make that choice. So a different choice point. When you take that power back, then a new reality will be available to you.
Okay. So the angels, or was it Gabriel, said that he's not going to go in the same type of work because of his values, not because of his limitations.
Right. It's a conscious choice. It's really that what was going on before was in alignment with the reality he was living in at the time, what his interest was at the time. So that's been shifting along the way as well throughout this, and he's also going through his awakening process. There's no way he couldn't be affected by this, right? So, and also by these cords being cut to that old consciousness that he was so identified with in the past, that also will allow for new, more creative options to come forth. His vibrational alignment with the masculine and the feminine will be different as well. So he won't be drawn as much to the one. He will be more in a balanced place, where instead of believing things have to be hard or coming into a working less, working easier, being more happy, changing the value systems, not being so focused on the outside any longer. That's what you're going to be experiencing through him. I see.
Oh my goodness, that's wonderful. So the suffering will stop. Thank you,
Yes.
Peter. Thank you,
You're welcome.
Gabriel.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you. Again, these questions, even though they're very personal, they assist all of us, and we thank you for sharing. We're going to go to more questions, but we're going to take a pause right here. And Peter, I'm going to have you share more on this upcoming workshop. We get together with you from time to time and do another vessel, and it's very cool what goes on in these workshops. They're 2 hours long, and they are high vibrational and very transformational. And we're getting together again, and we invite everyone to check it out in the Zoom box. I am putting the link to what we're going to be talking about now. And this is from me to we. Our souls communicate through quantum light. This is another live interactive workshop with you. And what's this about? It's going to be fun.
It is. Thank you. It's about the kingdom within, as I think it was mentioned in the text too. By shifting the perspective, starting to operate and navigate through frequency and vibration, through love, through light, fully embodying those aspects of ourselves again, starting to remember that, communicate from the purity of our hearts, learning to show up as who we truly are, not fitting into a collective consciousness or society, or who we were schooled or made believe that this is success, this is a successful person. We all have unique codes, so allowing that to fully be expressed through us, that's what we're going to be working on, and deepening and filling up that container we talked about earlier too, bringing more and more concept, more and more intel, more and more assistance in, more and more codes, more and more light, which will allow for the quantum field within each one of us, and us working together in the workshop as well, making activations and transformations that when we shift from me to we, is that we don't work separately any longer. We allow ourselves to connect with all these other aspects of ourselves, and then we become stronger. So shifting that perspective that, is not me against the world. It's not, I don't have to have all the answers necessarily either. We work as a organic being together, shifting into the I am presence where you are one with everything. So that we're going to dive into and answer questions as well. Absolutely, stage questions. And if you have done any of our workshops before with Lauren and myself, is that, it's very organic, it's very beautiful, it's very what needs to come through at that time as well is important to remember, what's going on in the collective or in this time of year, whatever, at the moment, that affects all of us. And again, we can all resonate with that somewhat, like you mentioned several times too, like it's really for all of us, this information, and all of us being one.
Yes, thank you. And we are excited for that. Thank you again. That event is coming up. You guys can please check the link that's here on this webpage. It's also in our Zoom chat box. And wherever you're watching or listening to this video, it's in the description box as well. And we look forward to seeing you. Please join us. It's fun. It will be recorded if you can't be there live. And also, Peter, we are including, there's another option that's going to be including the earlier workshops that we've done, because again, those are containers of energy that people can just come right into and be a part of as well. Very special and pristine, those experiences. So those are all there as well. And you also are offering personal sessions with people, and that's beautiful. So personal sessions, but then there's also Archangel Gabriel's Sacred Purifying Spray. Tell us about that.
Earlier this year, it was channeled to me to create a spray. So I with the assistance of the universe, in a company here in Austin, I'm in Austin right now, created this beautiful collaboration and co-creation of vibrations and frequencies and energies through pure oils. And I, with Archangel Gabriel, blessing each bottle that's going out, and it's a cleansing, it's a clearing of the space. It's assisting with purification of the energy field of the houses, of the homes, hotel rooms, whatever you want, And I it's been very successful and continue to expand. And I was guided to bring it on to this platform as a part of the packages, something that I strongly feel that would benefit a lot of people. It's really about allowing more and more tools into our space, allowing those frequencies to assist us because they are here for us.
Well, thank you. Thank you for creating this beautiful tool, another beautiful tool for us to use on our journey. We are here shifting and raising our vibration, and we have many tools to do it. So
I want to jump in one more thing, sorry.
Yes.
I just want to give credit to Shayna Blackmar as well and Barusha Skincare, because they actually were the one had the expertise and helped with the initial stages of creating the product with Gabriel and being the one that held the space and allowing the testing and finding the right scent and allowing all that to come through.
Beautiful. I love that collaboration. Thanks, Shayna. And that is New Earth collaboration. We're going to see more of it. I've actually, even in the media, I know that's kind of a four-letter word sometimes, but even in the media, even of our higher conscious media that's out there, I'm starting to see collaboration, New Earth collaboration. And so that's exciting. And let's all keep our eyes and our focus on New Earth collaboration and new things happening on our Earth. That is how we drop the old, as Peter and Archangel Gabriel have been saying. Okay, awesome. We have time for a few more questions, and I'm sorry if we can't get to all of them. really so sorry, but Peter does these awesome personal sessions. And if you've not had one yet, you are in for a very special treat. This is, again, another container, but it's especially for you. And you will get some answers that absolutely speak to your soul from your higher self. When you hear the information, you will gain so much from it. You will be given solid footing on your path. So we encourage you to check out his offer of a personal session with all of the programs that are included with that as well. So it's a beautiful offering. Thank you, Peter, once again.
You're welcome. I just want to jump in for a second really fast and just highlight that all these special offers, the workshop, the upcoming workshop, which we priced at $33, is actually a part of those offers. So you can either buy that by itself to be a part of the workshop, or if you buy any of these offers, then is that thrown in there as well as a part of that package. So there is a huge savings to be had. And
yeah, it's wonderful. It's like you can get a personal session with Peter for an incredible price, really incredible price. Check it out. And it includes all of those workshops. So there's 3. There's the new one that's live, and then 2 that are recorded. And they're each unique and supportive in their own way. And that's beautiful. And then, of course, people can buy the spray as well. We have a question. Is the spray for protection?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
It's for clearing, it's for protection, it's depending on the energy field that you're feeling in your space. So it is Palo Santo. There's many other ingredients that's beautiful that really cuts through that, and the vibrations that's been blessed into the product as well. It cuts through all that and creating a balance in your personal space. So that in itself, by clearing the unwanted, allows for a new foundation to be established and a clearing of the old. So it's kind of like a death and a rebirth as well. So a daily or whenever you feel guided to use it, people use it in their bathtub as well. Examples of, so there's really no limit to how, but really is creating a new conscious practice where we utilize those tools that's available to us.
Yes, beautiful tools, wonderful tools that actually really also bring us very present. And that is the quantumness that we can tune into as we use those tools. So happy journeying with those tools, everyone. Okay, next we're up with Vanita. Hi, Vanita. You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, Loren and Peter. So
Hi.
just enjoying the session so much, and just how Loren has been saying, like every single person that's asked a question, like all of us are receiving from all of the answers. So thank you so much for that. And so my question is, what can I look forward to in November, and any guidance coming in from the archangels to help me stay aligned, to be in flow, and continue to expand in my spiritual journey?
Absolutely. Do you have your permission to energy melt and connect with your higher self?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'm just going to bring in the Legion of Angels. I'm asking them to remove any wandering spirits, anything that's not of the light from your energy field and from this connection and this question. And slowly energy melting with you. And tuning into the question. The main focus will be to stay not only present, but grounded as well. It's not because it's bad to be in the astral, it's not bad to be out there, but for you to fully manifest and integrate as fast as possible as with these incoming codes, the portals, the 1111, full moon, eclipse, all of that, you want to be in the driver's seat, so to speak, as much as possible. So there's a lot of times where it just feels better to just stay up here, but find a balance between those two. On a daily basis, bring yourself into your body more. That will be your challenge throughout this month, because the systems, if you want, or the way the routines you had will shift, so you will feel a little challenged by that. And instead of trying to figure out and recreate the old, then allow yourself to be in that flow, but to fully, everything will work better when you're grounded. So it's important that you're grounded. It's important that you spend time in nature. Like when you walk outside, you will notice that your body, you can feel the codes more stronger than being inside a building, because you're more exposed to it. You will feel tenderness, you will feel all kinds of sensations, So allowing yourself to be in nature as much as you can, an hour a day would be ideal, or 3 times a week, a couple hours, really will allow you to calibrate these frequencies that's abundant on the outside, because Mother Earth, Gaia, fifth dimensional Earth is here and is vibrating these frequencies already. So you want to ground into that as much as you can, if that makes sense.
Yes, definitely. That makes a lot of sense. And I need to definitely be doing more of that, since I do live in an apartment building. So taking the time to step out and really ground myself. So that does make a lot of sense.
It is a different perspective. It's like what was important before, kind of revisit that. You know what I mean? We can avoid it or we can partake in it. Transitioning is going to happen regardless, but the more you choose and you make that the most important part of your life, your relationship with you, and nurturing that connection, nurturing your vibration and frequency, will just shift everything, and it will become much easier, and it will feel you will feel much more connected. You do feel very connected now, but even more so. It's a deeper reach, deeper connection with everything. Nature is a prime example. It doesn't want anything from you. It's just giving. It's just there. So connecting with that as a conscious being will allow you to become more conscious and hold more of that consciousness.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. And I feel very connected to nature, and definitely I appreciate that reminder.
Welcome. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Vanita. Yes, and nature is abundant. Nature is abundant. Nature is the universe in action. Okay, beautiful. And I wrote this down, be in the driver's seat. Everyone, be in the driver's seat in this next month in our life. Be in the driver's seat. Okay, here is a question from our chat line. This is from Linda. Hi, Linda. Linda, good question, because this speaks to all of us. I know many of us have this similar question. Is there anything you can see that I can do to more fully embody that which I came to do and get it out there to share with those of like minds? And just curious to see who all steps forth that I can call upon to assist me.
Awesome. Just going to ask your higher self permission to energy melt and connect with your higher self. As I'm bringing in the Legion of Angels, I'm asking them to remove any wandering spirits, anything that's not of the light from your energy field. So as I'm connecting with you and tuning into your question, what they're showing me right away is that, and as you were asking the question, Lauren, I could already see that, is there's a huge community around you. I do see a book, and I do see, the book can come in different versions. So more of a mass of information where you are bringing, I guess, in a sense, like the same with the aspects in together, but you're gathering it in a way and orchestrating it in a way and formulating it in a way that's going to seem very organic and very beautiful and balanced. And that is one of your gifts. So allowing yourself to step into that next part, allowing yourself to receive, because there's a whole neighborhood, if you want, or a community of soul contracts and soul family around you that is part of their purpose and mission. So, and your part of it is to gather it all together and bring it into oneness. And it will correlate or align with your specific blueprint and your journey as well. You might not fully see that at first, but as it comes together, It's just different aspects, and you knowing where they're supposed to go will also allow you to expand your field. So moving forward, that will be a part of your next mission and your purpose, to be that connecting link, if that makes sense. And sometimes that means that you also have to reach out. It's not all coming to you. Most of it will, but you have to also like look for the pieces.
It would be very interesting. I don't know if people want to put this in the chat line, but I am curious to hear how many of us in this group would have been called to write a book. Called to write a book and actually doubting that we can even write a book. I know that's like the ego mind that comes up to say, what do I have to write about? But I'm just really curious to see who has been called. Yeah, yeah, let's go.
I like that way you looked at that, and I'm sure many can relate to that. I do feel in this case, though, that question, the perspective was a little different because it was not just self-served or one source. You know, it was bringing many thoughts together as a community, that it was serving as that link between. That doesn't make it any less anymore. It's just a different variation of that, you know, and it's beautiful.
I've been dodging my book for 15 years.
But you have so much to share.
Okay. Yeah, you know, it's really interesting. It's very, very interesting. And what we've learned is it doesn't have to come out in the form of a book. It could be in the form of other things, like maybe just smaller little snippets of blog posts or social media posts or things like this. It's something, because we have something to share. We have something to share, and we have to share it. So in yesterday's show, we said, go write a list of everything that you know. And I really hope that people wrote that list of everything that they know, because this is how we as leaders step up and assist other people for service, not for ourselves. And we don't do it for money. We do it because we are sharing our wisdom. And wow, it's time to step up. So thank you. Yes, and Vanita, you're doing it with the podcast. That's it. You know, I've been using that excuse. Oh, I've got a podcast. That's my book. No, for me, it's a little different. But for each of us, it's unique. And so we just listen to the call and put one foot in front of the other. All right. We have time for one more question, and I'm going to go to Linda's question in our chat line. Linda has this question. Is there anything that you can see? Wait, no, we already did that, didn't we? Yes, we did that. We did that. So one more question, and this is Larry. Larry, hello. You can unmute yourself.
Fantastic. Hi, Lauren and Peter.
Hi, Larry. How are you?
Fantastic. Yeah, I've just been enjoying the show here today,
Thank you.
and the wisdom that's coming through. I'd like to get a perspective on what I need to know in terms of being able to move into my higher expression. And over the past year, I've went through 3 different residential moves that have put me on the side, you know, kind of sidelines as opposed to really moving forward. And I've been spending a lot of time out in nature, in doing part-time landscaping. So I'm getting filled up. I'm feeling strong and vibrant, but I'm not really serving humanity in a way right now in terms of stepping up big. And it's really about, you know, how can I collapse the patterns and timelines to really elevate at this time and at this junction. I am surrendering and letting go and allowing life to happen through me and feeling very uplifted, but wanted to get a different perspective.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. Do I have your permission to energy melt and connect with your higher self?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm just going to bring in the Legion of Angels. I'm asking them to remove any wandering spirits, anything that's not a delight from your energy field, from your home, city, state, country, this planet, all timelines, all parallel realities, and all dimensions, just clearing the space. And tuning in to your journey and your timeline and your script. Seeing what's going on here. It's funny, they're using an analogy of you're changing the typewriter. You're shifting from the medium that you are writing your story with. So it's a huge upgrade. It's coming into the quantum field. You had 3 moves, and part of why that experience, in a sense, was looping itself is that the consciousness how things are supposed to work or how they will be working was still being kept together, so to speak. So it's kind of challenging you each time to make a different choice. Point being is that not focusing so much on the outside. So it's wonderful, it's beautiful that you want to be assistance to humanity, but first you have to serve yourself first. You have to bring yourself into full alignment first, because you cannot, what you have in the past, and that's not because you did something wrong necessarily, you did it out of the goodness of your heart, but it allowed yourself to drain you. So you didn't have enough energy and strength to really make a big breakthrough. So by taking all of your power back and you choosing a different direction and doing that from the inside out instead of from the outside in is going to be the key for you to move forward. And every experience leading up to this had a purpose. It reached or brought you to a point where you could see that bigger picture. Is like sometimes we have to see something similar many times before we can see that there's a program involved in it. There's a cycle happening. And it's just a realization of, okay, I've done that now. It's time to try something different. Instead of going in circles, I'm going to try to go in a direction I haven't gone before. And allowing everything to show up differently. But you, again, as was mentioned earlier, is that you become the driver, you're staying in your lane, not allowing yourself to try to create a new world inside an old box. So you have to allow yourself to step out and move forward. When that happens, when you fully consciously make that decision, there will be some shifts happening. So the most important part is to stay on track and reminding yourself, and that self-dialogue is that there's no right and wrong. You really cannot do anything wrong. The more you're in alignment with the universe vibrationally and with your higher self, then everything will be provided for you. The human self have a hard time aligning and logically comprehend that, but that's what you're now ready to tap into and ready to receive, because there is miracles sitting there waiting for you. And it's not going to come the way you expected, or the logical mind can comprehend it, if that makes sense.
Fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope that's helpful. So really get into your heart. Don't feel small. Allow yourself to step up. Not saying that you feel weak, anything like that. It's more of what we've been conditioned to believe is possible. Step outside of that. Become limitless again.
Thank you, Larry. Good luck. Thank you. All right. Well, being in the driver's seat, here we are in November. And when this year began, January 1st, I looked around at the world and I saw that we are only playing in the old as long as our memory of the old is within us, and that it felt so new. Everything felt so new. And that is why this year for me has been so transformational, and simply just following the heart, being in the driver's seat of the heart is the way forward. And it's not easy all the time, because at times it feels like our mind, our ego mind, will be at war with the heart, but the heart will always win, and the heart always feels good. So thank you for this time today, Peter and Archangel Gabriel. As we say goodbye, I want to give you a moment for any final thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What's coming through is, one second here, just tune in. Everything we touched upon today, in some way or another, has been connected to this year and this part of our journey. Looking back on the last 2 years before that, how much have shifted this year is really astonishing. So aligning with being grateful and appreciation, how much has shifted. Yes, there's still a couple of hotspots around the world, or many of them, let's say, that's still trying to hold on to those programs. But in the bigger picture, 80% of the world or more are actually operating outside of those limitations. So it is just a matter of time before that last part is getting clear too, even though they're trying to make a lot of noise. Let that be an example of that anything is possible, even though we might still hear things, but it's not, if it's not a part of our immediate reality, don't let it sidetrack you or become a part of your reality any longer. Just be patient and just continuously just focus on you and moving forward, and knowing that there's a bigger plan in place, that you created this journey for you, and you are very smart. Your higher self is monitoring you as you're moving forward. And we are now in the golden age, so everything moving forward will become lighter and lighter and lighter, because that's a part of the divine plan. So allow yourself to receive, allow yourself to be, allow yourself to expand, allow yourself to be happy, allow yourself to be loved and be loved.
Allow yourself to love and be loved. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Archangel Gabriel. Beautiful words, comforting. We are elated, and we go on our journey with this vibration. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Again, we invite you to join us. Please join us for a webinar with Peter and Archangel Gabriel. Check out the link and we'll see you all soon. Thank you, everyone. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.